Got a secret? Can you keep it? Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 differences between the Pretty Little Liars TV show and books. Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we're looking at all the ways this hugely popular show differs from its source material. Please note, since we'll be discussing plot points, major spoilers lie ahead. Number 10. Mona's storyline.
You didn't call Hannah, did you? Because you're A.
In both the book and the TV show, Mona Vanderwaal is an old friend of Hannah's, but her storyline in the TV version differs quite a bit.
Congratulations, Spencer. You figured it out.
It all starts off similarly enough, with Mona being revealed to be the first A in both media. In the book, however, Mona dies shortly after this revelation is made in a struggle with Spencer where she falls off a cliff. In the show, she fakes her own death, but is later revealed to be very much alive. Considering her role in the series, it's hard to imagine her being taken out so early.
Is that your blood?
Yes. And soon it's gonna be smeared all over this house.
Number 9. Mental institution switch-up. In both the TV series and in the books, Hannah struggles with an eating disorder.
You don't have to feel this way. I can show you how to get rid of it.
In the books, and then towards the end of the series, the Radley was turned into a hotel. In the books, however, it ultimately results in Hannah's father sending her to the preserve at Addison Stevens to address this serious issue.
I did everything you asked me to.
In the show, the preserve isn't as relevant, but the Radley Sanitarium is. That's where Mona goes after she's revealed as A, and Spencer later ends up there as well. In the books, and then towards the end of the series, the Radley gets turned into a hotel.
Wow, this is really amazing. Thank you. Seriously, you would never know that this used to be in that house.
Number 8. Many characters are original to the show.
Couldn't have picked a better place to end your story.
Shauna.
You may not realize it, but a number of the characters that you come to know and love, or hate, in the show were actually original creations who never appeared in the books at all.
Hey, Shauna!
Some examples are Shauna, Sydney, Charles, Mary, Bethany, Sarah, Paige, and Garrett. On the other hand, there are also tons of book characters who never made it onto the show, like Kelsey, Tabitha, Amelia, Zach, Nick, Iris, Isaac, Courtney, and Jordan/Catherine. We can't help but wonder why the creators decided to choose some characters to include and not others.
I had an amazing time last night. And I would really like to keep seeing you.
Number 7. The timeline of Allie's death.
Friends share secrets. That's what keeps us close.
When the TV show kicks off in the pilot, Allison has been missing for exactly a year when her body is found. Arya has just returned from Iceland, and they're all still processing what has happened.
I still think about her every day.
In the book, however, Allison went missing in the summer of 7th grade, and a whole 3 years go by before anyone finds her body.
I'm sorry. They found Allison's body.
This changes the dynamic quite a bit, because it means that when the initial incident took place in the book, all of the girls were quite young. It also means that the book versions of the characters all had time to grow before A started torturing them.
I'm still here, bitches. And I know everything. A.
Number 6. Caleb isn't in the books.
You're the queen of heels and handbags. But out here, you're Dora the Explorer. You have any other personalities I should know about?
We already mentioned that some of the show's characters weren't present in the book, but it's hard to imagine that someone as important as Caleb wasn't in the source material at all.
Actually, let's not talk.
Hannah.
In the show, he's Hannah's main love interest, and of course, also has a brief relationship with Spencer during the time jump. But in the book, Hannah dates Arya's brother Mike Montgomery for much of the story. Caleb's hacking skills are essential to many of the show's plotlines, not to mention he's a total heartthrob. So in hindsight, it's hard to imagine the story without him.
The thing about coming into the back door is the view is entirely different.
Number 5. Spoby doesn't exist in the books.
To be honest, it was really fun to kick your ass at Scrabble.
It may shock you to find out that one of the biggest Pretty Little Liars ships is based on 2 characters who never get together in the books. In fact, in the books, Toby is kind of a creep who sexually abuses his stepsister and watches the girls while they're changing.
He was in that tree spying on us.
I'm so creeped out.
Who was it?
It was that perv, Toby Kavanaugh.
The only one of the liars he has even the potential of a romantic match with is actually Emily, but it all falls apart before it can really start, with Book Toby ultimately committing suicide by overdosing on drugs. Thankfully, the Spoby we know and love are alive and well on TV.
You make it so hard to be a modern post-feminist when you get so alpha male.
Number 4. The Ezria relationship ends much sooner. Speaking of major ships that never were, here's another one for you.
I'd like to know more about you.
Yeah. I'd like to know more about you too.
Arya and Ezra's relationship is a major plot point for much of the TV series, but in the book, Ezra is really only around for a very short period of time. Their relationship starts pretty much the same way, but they're soon found out, and Ezra loses his job in Rosewood.
I'd like to transfer out of your class.
Anyone who has seen the end of the show knows that Ezria is totally endgame, and that these two ultimately wind up tying the knot. So it's tough to imagine the show without this prominent fan favorite couple.
I present to you for the very first time, Mr. and Mrs. Fitz.
Number 3. Who lives and who dies?
That bitch can keep a secret. I respect that.
So we already mentioned 2 major characters who die in the books, but who survive throughout the show, Mona and Toby.
They need to understand that she's in charge.
Well, then I'll take care of it.
But there are even more. Perhaps most importantly, Jenna is murdered. In the book, her last name is Kavanaugh rather than Marshall, and she's killed by the real Allison De Laurentiis because she knows too much. More on that later.
Everyone misunderstood Allison, but I knew exactly who she was.
Of course, these changes of fate go both ways. Some characters who died in the show, like Maya, actually survive in the books, though her and Emily still don't wind up together.
They found a body. They think it's Maya.
Number 2. The main 4 characters all look different. When doing the casting for Pretty Little Liars, the creators clearly decided to choose the actress who they thought would be the best fit for the role, regardless of physical appearance.
Is it actually possible that all of us are happy at the same time? Oh my god, don't say that out loud, it's a jinx.
The way the characters are described in the book would pretty much make them unrecognizable on the show. Emily is supposed to have strawberry blonde hair and blue eyes, but on the show she has darker coloring.
A can come after me any day of the week. Anywhere. That's not gonna stop me from helping someone I love.
In the book, Arya is supposed to be quite tall with blue eyes. Hannah has dyed auburn hair and dark eyes, and Spencer is blonde with blue eyes. It's almost like they all switched.
We'll tell Toby. He's got a badge and a gun, he can keep us safe. We can follow Jason without Charles knowing, and if anything goes wrong, he's gonna be right there.
Before we get to our top pick, here are some honorable mentions.
Ready to go?
Oh, we gotta talk to Coach. I'll see you later.
He's coming for you.
We have to go.
Now, Allison.
We came back here for you, Allie, so move it.
I'm trying to get pregnant.
With Ian?
Of course.
Number 1. In the books, Allie is A. Get ready because we're about to spoil the major plot of both the show and the books here.
Did you miss me?
If you've read the books or seen the show, you know that Allie is actually alive and always has been, but the details behind her disappearance differ greatly.
And when I got home, A made it clear that if she wanted to kill me, she could.
In the books, Allison has a twin named Courtney, who was actually murdered by Allison herself. But in the show, she has no twin, and this role is partially replaced by Bethany. In the book, the real Allison is actually A, but in the show, it's Charlotte, also known as Cece, also known as Charles. Phew, did you follow all that?
Don't be so dramatic, Allie. Cece? They're not dead. Yet.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from MsMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.